Hello. The good thing about not having work, um, because I'm waiting for the council to, I don't know, process my application to teach in Glasgow, is that you've got plenty of time. Actually, I've got an interview this week, and I'm going to try and explain what it is that I'm intending to do here in Glasgow, and I'm going to risk it. I'm going to tell them what I'm going to do, and they might like it, they might not. Basically, the ideas that I've put up on YouTube just recently. But most people, you see, they're kind of like not happy about working, but actually think that that allows you to have more time to explore stuff. Um, One of the things that I've been pursuing through the last 10, 15 years is kind of been interested in Buddhism. Can't say I'm a Buddhist, but it's amazing. And there's this thing, part of Tibetan Buddhism. It's called dzogchen. I don't know how to pronounce it correctly. Dzogchen. And there was this book that a friend of mine had, and for some reason I've just returned to it over and over again over the years. So I just happen to have it on the iPod, and it happens to, shuffle things, so it's random. It happens to have one of the, in fact, it's got the central verse. It's called the Six Vajra Verses, and the epithet described by somebody or other is cuckoo of the state of presence. Still don't understand what that means. Anyway, listen to the statements and listen to it, and then see if this makes any sense. Okay, if you're interested in Buddhism, then it's kind of cool. This is all to do with the mind at, I think, infinitesimals, not normally conscious. So you've got to kind of like be really sensitive. You have to be really quiet and silent to be able to pick this up. The nature of phenomena is non-dual, but each one, its own state, is beyond the limits of the mind. There is no concept that can define the condition of what is, but vision nevertheless manifests. All is good. Everything has already been accomplished, and so, having overcome the sickness of effort, one finds oneself in the self-perfected state. This is contemplation. Now, the thing about the Far East is that they don't go on and on and on and write books and books and books. For example, there's a book I have friend's flat. It says The Rules of Life. I think he was given it to him by his friend for his birthday. The Rules of Life. It's a book, ladies and gentlemen. It's got about 200 rules. Whereas the Buddhists sort of say, try and say the simple thing. Okay, it's not about telling people stuff. It's about listening. So, this is my interpretation of how it works. Okay, just for what it's worth. The nature of phenomena is non-dual. It means everything just exists. So you've got to think about the entire universe and absolutely everything: time, particles, us, you, me, flowers, everything. Just absolutely everything. It's just one thing. Okay, it just exists. That means it's not dual. It's not two things. It's just one thing. Okay, everything is just one thing. Okay, have you got that part? That's the first line. It's pretty big. But each one, its own state. But that means that each thing that you kind of think about, each thing, like for example, this pen here, you think it's a thing. It's part of this one thing. However, we look at it, and with our mind, we go, it's this thing. So each one, its own state, that means its own kind of existence, this pain, right, is beyond the limits of the mind. It means that whether you exist or I exist, doesn't really matter. This exists. But not as a separate thing, it's just part of everything. You get what I'm saying? So the nature of phenomena is non-dual. This doesn't actually exist, only in the sense that everything exists. But each one, its own state, this kind of thing, is beyond the limits of the mind. That is, when I look at it, I'm saying it's a pen, alright? An insect crawling along here goes, oh, it's a branch. You know what I'm saying? So it depends on the mind that's perceiving it. Or in fact, it could be like a poison dart gun, like 007. Okay, but it's not, it's just a pen, right? But that's because I'm making it a pen, you're making a pen, and we're making use of it as a pen, and so on and so forth, alright? But that's our mind that's doing that. But it still exists independently of what it is that I conceive it to be. Okay, so the sun exists. It doesn't really matter what it is that you think it is. Okay. Right, then the second verse. There is no concept that can define the condition of what is. Okay, I could kind of define what a pen is, but you can't define everything. Okay, you can't. Okay, you can't model it. You can't have concepts for it. You can just go everything and point everything, kind of invent the concept of it. But that doesn't define the concept of what it is. You're just kind of pointing at it. But vision nevertheless manifests. Okay, even though everything exists and we can't have a concept of everything, the point is our mind still works and we can get on with our daily lives. Life's good. And in fact, it says all is good. Okay. So there's no point trying to work it out. Okay, everything's good. Yeah, it's good. Okay. Everything has already been accomplished. Now this last one is a bit tricky. I think the next one, the last one, is more like a kind of a hint for living well, I suppose. Everything has already been accomplished. Now how is that possible? Everything has already been accomplished. And so, having overcome the sickness of effort, okay, because you're not trying to do anything, trying to conceive of anything or get enlightened or anything silly like that, one finds oneself in the self-perfected state. This is contemplation. Now this sounds as if you don't really have to think about anything at all. You just carry on with life and everything's absolutely funky. And, that's the state of contemplation. It's not quite like that. I believe that what you want to do with the mind is, for me, this is my own little interpretation, which is probably the weirdest interpretation of this. If it's accomplished, that means it's in the past. Okay. What I'm suggesting is that we, as a mind, exist in time. Okay, you exist in your own time, and you're watching this, you see. But you do exist in a certain kind of like time, and it's like a moment, a little moment, and it's got like a bit of the future and it's a bit of the past. That's what I think. Okay, and you've got kind of things in time. And what it's suggesting is that everything that has come to pass, like you pressing play, is now in the past. Okay, you're watching this, but the images are going into your head. Okay, but it's always just the past. You're looking at the effects of the light on the screen, and it's going into your head, and then it's being processed, and it's playing with things that have gone into your head. It's going to be out of date. At some point, it's going to be out of date. Do you know what I'm saying? So instead of trying to get what is, okay, which is impossible, all you could do is just receive the information that's coming at you. Okay, which means that with your consciousness, you don't really want to be going, oh, what's going on, what's going on? What you're doing is you're just going, gosh, isn't it amazing? Right? Because it is all going on. And you're receiving all this, and you're watching the video, and it's all happening, and the words and everything, and life, and so on and so forth, or your history, and everything's conspiring to be, to contribute to what it is that you're doing right now, and being who you are right now. For it to all be in the past, that means that you're right on the very edge of kind of time, in the front edge of time, as it were. It's like you're surfing on a kind of like surfboard, and you're right on the front edge of it, and you're riding the wave of it. You're not trying to go, oh, where's that wave come from? Oh, okay, I'm going to analyze this. No, you're just surfing it. You're just really enjoying it, as it were. So that was a bit tricky, but I think that's kind of more like an advice thing. So does that make some kind of sense? So it's stuff about space and time, as in where we are, how our minds interact with it, and I believe the last thing is to do with time. Make up your own mind. It's the kind of thing you can do on your day off, Try to recommend to everybody. Take more days off. The entire economy will slow down.